Hi, I'm Dr. Nelson with Cadence Chiropractic. This is Brittney. She is one of our favorite patients by far in the office. But she has an amazing story, especially when it comes to headaches and migraines. And so I wanted to take the opportunity today to let Brittney share that story and kind of show you what we've been doing for her and her headaches.
Awesome. So let's see. I've suffered from migraines for a very long time, but recently, so 2018 is when it really hit hard. I was actually bedridden for a few months. Couldn't drive, couldn't do anything. My headaches were insanely, knocked me off my feet pretty much. Also, couldn't drive, couldn't function, couldn't take care of my kids. My mom actually had to come into town and take care of me. So it just got to a point to where I was desperate. And I actually happened to find Cadence Chiropractic off of Facebook. And at this point, I've seen ophthalmologists, neurologists, doctors, specialists, and nobody could give me answers on why my migraines were the way they were. So at the very last straw, I happened to be scrolling through Facebook and it said back pain, neck pain, migraines, and I was like, sold. At this point, I was ready to try anything. I was desperate. And so then I gave it a try, and legitimately it has changed my life. So I think we've been on year and a half plan. And I wouldn't be able to be the mom that I am today. I wouldn't be able to function the way I am as a normal human being, let's say, without Cadence Chiropractic.
Awesome. Yeah, we've definitely been seeing some major changes. So I want to explain kind of what we do with your adjustment and the things that have happened. So go ahead and lay down. So here in the office, we do the activator technique, which has no twisting, popping, or cracking. And one of the things that makes this technique quite unique is the form of assessment. We first start by looking at the feet, looking for a change in leg lengths. Try to make sure that the pelvis is balanced out first. And so the first thing that we try to do is make sure that any rotation in the pelvis is removed so that the feet are equal. So by doing that, untwist the pelvis and helps us make the feet equal. And at this point, we can do certain movements that help us test each individual level of the spine. So we do that by Brittney doing active movements. So for example, put your right hand behind your back. We'll switch hands. And left hand down. So it's like a game of Simon Says, but what we're doing is we're activating specific muscle groups to test individual levels of the spine. So instead of me coming up and kind of feeling the spine, looking for areas that are out of place and just kind of trying to guess where those areas are, it's based on a response from her body through the movements, so we can be more accurate with where we adjust. Both hands behind your back, both hands down, and put your right hand by your head. Let's just make sure that we can guarantee that we're going to catch places that maybe we would have missed, or areas that are out of position that you might not have any symptoms or other issues at, so that we can make sure to adjust them and take care of the entire body from top to bottom. Both hands by your head, both hands down. Turn your head to the right. The big issue is that if we were to neglect one of those areas, it's like a domino. You push one over and they all fall. So we want to make sure to take care of your entire body. Right hand by your head, switch hands, left hand down, shrug your shoulders and relax. And then turn your head back to the middle. Lift your head back down, tuck your chin to your chest, and relax. So Brittney now has those movements memorized, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the big thing, especially when we're dealing with headaches and migraines, is we want to balance out the entire body from the bottom of the spine to the top. And then we start focusing in more onto the base of the skull in what we call sacro-occipital technique or cranial adjusting. So Brittney, let's have you flip over onto your back. This is one of the techniques that we definitely see the biggest changes in headaches with.
Yes.
And so Brittney can kind of tell you about how it feels, but I know that there's been times that you've come in with an active headache. And when we've done this portion of the technique, it usually goes away. And so here what I'm focusing on is different acupressure points across the skull and base of the skull, trying to help relieve the tension that generally starts at the back of the neck, especially with people who get maybe like stress migraines or stress headaches, anything like that, so that we can release what is known as the suboccipital muscles. That releases a lot of tension from the neck and from the head, so that people with headaches or an active headache at the time generally gets a immediate change in those headaches. Now the other big thing that we deal with is headaches and migraines. They're generally different. Migraines are going to be more of a neurological type of nature, whereas headaches are going to be more of a stress tension. And so when we deal with migraines, we want to make sure that the body is functioning the way it's supposed to. And in this cranial adjusting, we are working with the flow of fluid around the brain, known as cerebral spinal fluid, trying to increase the fluid, or the flow of that fluid, which can help with nutrients and cleaning out trash and everything else. And so when we start talking about migraines specifically, that's where we're going to see big changes in those migraines. That feeling okay so far, Brittney?
A little tender on the right side.
Okay. So I look for that tension. We want to hold just a very gentle, light pressure, waiting for that tension to decrease. And Brittney, how would you describe the cranial adjusting?
It's my favorite part. It's cool when I can feel the fluid pressure, because you know how we talked about how mine kind of gets blocked.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to feel the spinal fluid pressure, spinal fluid.
Yeah. You feel
Flowing.
like that immediate flow change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The release
And how's that pressure there on the right side now?
is better.
Okay. So then the final part here in cranial adjusting is working on essentially a pump to help pump that fluid down and around. This part does feel really good. Generally, if someone has an active headache, this is where we see the immediate change. A lot of people who suffer from headaches might always talk about how they just want to like kind of squeeze their head, put pressure on it. So I get a lot of patients who talk about how this is the first time that they've like finally received relief for the thing that they've been trying to do to themselves for the last like year, 2 years, trying to push on their head that way. So it's definitely something that feels really good at the time and can make big changes with headaches. What are you feeling there, Brittney?
Relief.
Perfect. Hey, Brittney, go ahead and sit up. And so that's what we've been doing for Brittney over the past little while, making sure that we keep her body functioning and make sure that she can be the mom that she can.
Heck yeah.